It was not like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be a DP, never like that.
Really?
Yeah, never. And then it was third year of film school, and I was like, you know what? No, actually, beginning of second year, I went to a shoot with another friend, Arnaud Valls, and he was the DP. I was the runner at that shoot, and I then started looking at the guys. I was like, oh, they're having fun. This sounds fun. Like, moving the lights, the camera.
Right.
I want to be one of the cool guys,
Welcome back to Craft Truck Through the Lens. With us today, a dynamic personality, unique, young, fresh, very talented, extremely talented. His career sort of appeared out of nowhere, and we're going to find out about that. But it is proven to be not by accident, because he's a really, really tremendously talented face to cinematography. Edward Grau.
Wow.
Did I read correctly? You're actually 31 years old?
I am 31 years old for the next 9 days. Yes.
You're turning 32.
Next week, yeah.
But still, you've shot just an incredible amount for somebody that age.
I don't know. I suffer because I think I could do better.
Are you always looking back at your work and going, "Oh, I could have done that so much better"?
I don't know. It's a funny thing. I think it's both. Like I can't watch my movies. Like I can't watch them. Like for 2 years after I've done them, I can't watch them.
I know it's too fresh, right?
It's too fresh. I just don't like them when when they come out or something. But I enjoy shooting them, but it's like when I watch them, I was like, oh fuck, I did this mistake and this mistake and this mistake, and it's hard. It's hard.
So I'm presuming you start off shooting in Spain, in your native
Yes.
Spain. So you go to film school, you train with these guys. Typically, with a young cinematographer who's in here, what you typically find is that you probably became in your school one of the go-to guys for being like, get Edward to shoot your movie, right?
Yeah, well, it wasn't like that. It was like, I was unclear what I wanted to do with film school. I came in, I was like, maybe I want to direct. Everyone wants to direct to start with. And then I realized I wasn't very good at directing, and, I was much better at helping other people. And I really became obsessed with taste, with, how things look, how what the things look like, and I was very aware of that. Now it's because of my dad. I used to go to art galleries when I was like 6, because I would wake up in the morning, it's Sunday morning at 7 o'clock, I would be like there. My dad, his only hobby is art, so he would take me to art galleries, and probably that influenced me, and so I was obsessed with how things will look. And
aesthetics.
Then, aesthetics. And
also composition, or
yeah. And then that's so, and then without knowing how and why, I end up doing a cinematography degree, and things start working out. I start my shorts will go well, and then I kind of tried a couple of times to direct, but it was like, ooh. Directing is so complicated.
Yeah.
You need to be so good. Well, as a DP, no, you don't need to be that good. You only need to be cool.
Right. Yeah. Just throw some lights around. Start throwing lights everywhere. Yeah.
No, I mean, so I don't know. I discovered that being a director is a very difficult thing. And being under in their position, I discovered that when you have someone that helps you envision your ideas and work hard for them and gets what you want, it's amazing.
How did you get into the Hollywood system?
Well, I mean, what happened was I was very lucky. So I went to the National Film and Television School, and then so I learned English, and then I started working in English productions. And then what happened is, in the Cuba Cinema at 12 o'clock at night in the Edinburgh Film Festival, I met a girl, and I started chatting with her because we were both in line. And a year later, I'm doing some short films, not haven't done much. She receives a call from Tom Ford's producers saying, "We are desperate. We've seen Everyone's Real in America, and Tom Ford doesn't like anyone because they are too American, too fashiony, he's looking for someone more European, fast, available, cheap." that can shoot in 23 days a movie and that he will feel connected to, So Chemi recommended, like Chibo, Savides, and a couple more of my heroes. And she said also, oh, you should have a look at this reel. So she sent my reel. She couldn't find my phone. She couldn't find me on email. It was one of those moments, and she sent it. And then it ended up on Tom Ford's desk, and Tom Ford looked at it and looked at 3 times at the montage, 2-minute montage, and he said, I want this guy. And then,
You read the script.
I read the script.
Now,
I was reading the script and I couldn't believe that was being offered to me, because it was the kind of film I like, the kind of film I know how to do, the kind of film I want to do, and it was like, whoa! And it's a good story, with a character. So I was like, I know how to do this film. I couldn't do a romantic comedy. I couldn't do a thriller. I couldn't do an action movie, but a drama like A Single Man. It was perfect for that.
So he hires you, and then how long did you have to prep the movie?
I started the following Monday, I arrived at LA on Friday, and on Monday I start the movie. I start prepping the movie for 5 weeks. Yeah.
5 weeks of prep.
5 weeks
5
of
weeks of
prep.
prep, basically
23 days of shoot. Yeah.
So 4.5 weeks of shooting.
Yeah.
Right. So if you look at the film, it's so meticulous. I mean, obviously, I'm presuming because of Tom Ford's background, visually so specific.
Yeah. He knows exactly what he wants.
First of all, let's just talk about the story. The story is about Colin Firth, who finds out at the beginning of the movie that his spouse of many years has died. And he basically is trying to pick up the pieces and reflect on the relationship from there and move on with his life or not. Let's talk about something that was noted, photographically, was noted in the reviews of this movie.
Uh-huh.
Not very often will critics refer to something that happens photographically specifically. For a lot of the movie, it gets very desaturated. Very, the color is sucked out. The beautiful textures of the shapes and the light. And then all of a sudden, Colin Firth's character will be given a moment of exhilaration, excitement, sexual, whatever it is. And the color will rush into this movie. Like, it was the first time grading had been used in that way.
Yeah.
Ever. Some people...
I don't know if ever, but yeah.
Some critics loved it. Some critics hated it. Tell us about the decision to do that. Tell us about...
Okay, so that was on the script already when I read it.
So it was in the script.
It was in the script.
Right.
And it was a very radical decision by Tom to do it. Like he wanted to to make the people feel that he was at a certain point he was feeling alive. He was feeling like the senses were pumping up. He was like there is a reason to live this life. Sometimes. So and we shot it knowing that was going to happen a bit. We choose a film stock that was very colorful, very grainy.
19?
The 79.
Oh, you went back to
the oldest one. It's so beautiful. I think we were the last movie in America to shoot with the 79.
Really?
I mean, with Tom there was a straight away connection with visuals, and he I love what he was doing with the set. He loved what I was doing with the lighting. It was a we understand each other very well. I mean, and I see the movie, and there are some beats that are really, really his moments, and there are some beats that I decide I suggest this shot and this other, and I see him in all the movie, and I see myself in some bits of the movie, and my friends also see myself in the movie.
Right.
So which is fun. It's it's a movie that it's very, very, very Tom Ford,
right.
But I kind of put some of my things in it, But with this thing of the color, what happened as well is I couldn't do the grading, for one and two reasons, I couldn't do it. No, I couldn't do the grading, and he did it with Stephen Nakamura at Company 3, and in a way, there's some moments that I love it and some moments that I hate it. It's so I agree with both critics.
Right.
I love it sometimes because it's something new, something special, and it goes with the character in a way. The character is feeling something else. But some other times I feel it's a bit too much. It's a bit too intense. It's a bit too, it's a bit too too obvious sometimes, you know. But you know, it's Tom's decision, and that's a filmmaker's decision, and he goes with it. And some people love it, some people might hate it, but it's his movie, you know, and fair enough, you know.
What was your approach to sort of lighting the movie though? Because it is, whether you like or don't like the change from color, it's one aspect of the photography. It's not even it has nothing to do with the shots that you picked and the composition and the stuff that you actually lit.
So I wanted to do a lighting that was very classical. The choice of stock, you know, made it very clear what kind of movie we were doing. It was like you wanted to do an American classic that it would feel like a Life magazine cover. You know, grainy but colorful, intense, contrasty. Yeah. You know, but at the same time, you know, very American, but at the same time, very different from what was being done. And then I think with the flashback, we went a bit harder, you know, like, you know, also to find him that he's a bit more alive with, you know, a bit more connected with his, you know, past life than what he is now, you know.
So let's go into one of the most interesting pictures of the last few years, Buried. Right. Okay. So I don't know if this is an apocryphal story or not, but the story that exists, the rumor is that the studio met with a bunch of different directors, and the one they hired was the one who said, "I never, ever, ever want to leave the coffin."
No, it didn't go like
that's a joke. Okay.
No. Well, I mean, that's the story, and the truth was that the American production, you know. American producers were scared of doing a movie inside a coffin only. So, but this guy, he sent it to Rodrigo, and as Rodrigo was reading it, he was like, "This is amazing. This is a movie. It's unbelievable. It's unique. There's only going to be one movie in a coffin, and I want to do it." So, you know, they thought, well, if we shoot it in English and we hire a really, you know, good actor that also wants to go one step further, you know. So, you know, it's one big actor, but you know that he has something to prove in a movie in a coffin, that he's on his own, and he's 90 minutes we are on him all the time.
The whole time.
This is like a biggest, you know, challenge. Mm-hmm. So they decided to go for it.
How long did you shoot this for?
We shot for 18 days. I think 17 with Brian and 1 with pickups.
What format did you shoot in?
We shot on 35. Okay. Because I mean, we tested the red camera at that point, and it was like, you know, and with lighters, with fluorescent green, and with a torch being very bright, and with darkness, and especially the grain. It needed that amount of dust, of, you know, of texture. Earth, of texture, you know. When I came on the project, it was supposed to be on red, but then very soon we decided to go on film. You know, and then there was no way out.
Did you shoot it in such a way that you wanted to get it lit and then bring it down later, or did you live in a place where it's like, I hope this gets exposed? You know, we'll find out tomorrow.
Yeah, I was living. You know, I lost quite a lot of her in that movie. Yeah, but I think that's the fascinating thing about making movies. You know, when you are losing her, it's probably a good thing. It was so many times that I went to read the exposure, and my, you know, light meter would say EV, like nothing. It's nothing there. I would just pray.
And when you got it back, would it?
Yeah, no. I mean, most of the times it was spot on. It was very good. It was very dark. We wanted it to be very dark, but you know, especially, you know, there was a couple of fuck ups. There were a couple of scenes that were like, fuck. You know,
was there one sequence that was really tricky to get, or? You know?
I think every sequence was really tricky.
Okay, so I'm assuming you built a set. You built a larger than life size coffin.
No. The coffin was the size it was.
It was actually
the size.
The size of a coffin.
Yeah, Ryan Reynolds, what he did in this movie was unbelievable. I'm disappointed. I'm sad he didn't get recognized how he should. You know, what he does is how many actors can do, can support a movie inside the coffin for 90 minutes only on him, and deliver such a performance. You know, but he was also my best electrician. You know, I would tell Ryan, I mean, you need to work with me. You know, your lighter, it can't be here. It needs to be here, or your torch. You know. You know, I will direct him sometimes with the torch, like, you know, what to do with the torch. Have it here for the first sentence, and then bounce it here, you know, in the second, and then you just move it down, you know. So it's, you know, he is your electrician. You know, sometimes he's the guy who does it. You know, it was complicated, but there's always a trick hidden in the shot, always. You know?
Always.
Not always, like, you know, 80% of the time.
Let's talk a little bit about The Awakening. It's a beautiful movie.
Good.
I mean, tell us about the picture.
Yeah, I'm glad you like it. I mean, The Awakening is about a woman that is an expert on ghosts and on weird things happening, that is visited by another guy. He says, "Oh, I need to, I need you to come to, I need you to come to my school, because in my school we're seeing ghosts." And so she goes back there, and then she
Try and bust it.
trying to find the ghost, and yeah, I have crossed thoughts about it. I like the movie. I like the director a lot, and we're still friends.
Yeah, we're still friends.
And no, I will do more movies with him, but I think I suffered a lot doing it.
Why?
But I don't know. It was Scotland, which is a difficult place to live, and I don't know. It was our production wasn't helping much, and I felt a bit alone in that movie. Like with the director. I like the first hour a lot. I think it's fun. I think it goes. But then in the last 20 minutes, there's a bit too much talking and too much explanation of what happened. That's when I struggle with the movie.
With the film.
Yeah, with the film itself. Because it happens to a lot of this kind of movies. That they need to explain too many things, and then they get. So that was why The Awakening is not, one of my favorite movies because of that, because of, I don't like to explain too many things, I don't want that they have to explain. I think when things explain themselves, so they are like, it's great, and people think about that, and they make sense, of what they've just seen. That's when it's good,
Well, let's talk about the look of it. What did you photograph the movie on? Just
No, 35 as well.
35 again. You're
Yeah.
a diehard 35 guy.
No, I just find I was lucky. At that point, people mostly were shooting 35. It's been in the last 3-4 years that it has
Started to change.
Things have changed. Now on The Awakening, we try to do like a very muted color palette. Very bluish tonality. A bit more in the cyanish bluish tonality.
Yeah, sometimes it gets
With
very
yeah.
warm too. There's some,
And then have the contrast of the night being much more warm, much more like the house at night when it's more scary.
So she's walking around with the lamp.
Yeah, it's a bit warmer, which in a way
You went really dark in this movie.
I always find darkness fascinating. I always find like there's much more interesting in the darkness than in the brightness. There is, you imagine more in the darkness. Your eyes go a bit more. They are seduced by the image. Well, for that kind of people, some people they say, no, I don't see it. I don't care. I'm not interested in that people. I'm not. The people that think like that. I don't want them to watch my movies, In a way, you know what I mean? Sometimes it's like, if they are like, it's too dark, I can't watch it. It's like, well, maybe they are missing something, If all the films were all bright and you can see everything,
Where's
boring,
life? Well, it's a beautiful movie, and I think really, really just professionally photographed. I mean, just really exquisitely photographed, and. Again, like genre-wise, you can say whatever, but when a movie looks that good, you can't take that away from it. So, it really does. It's really quite a stunning looking picture.
Thanks. We'll see how it
what's next around the corner for you?
I don't know. I would like to do more movies. I would like to have here. You always want more. And I'm a filmmaker. I shoot commercials a lot, and I love doing commercials. I love doing music videos. I love doing docs. But movies, it's what gets me passionate. It's what I like. They get me fascinated by the story, by the characters. I like working on movies. It's a beautiful feeling. When you think you are creating something that it will last for a few years. And people will think. We'll talk about it. We'll like it. We'll reference it. I'm here to do movies. I want to do movies. That's what. So yeah, it's intensive.
Edward Grau,
Thank you very much.
thank you for being here.